I'm almost certain this was a stylistic choice due to the fact that they have a character later in the movie who does get decapitated, but I kind of find it odd it never showed this decapitation. I guess you get the idea. I want to know if maybe she got pulled out at the last second or something. I don't know. That'd be kind of funny to find out. Like, no, she's alive. She's just they're all just in the elevator, just hanging out. Hello. So this is iconic shot number two, which is the opening eye, and they use this through every Resident Evil movie. I think even in this final chapter. If I have vague memories of final chapter, it's because I barely remember that movie, but I know I hated it when I saw it. And the only time this opening eye thing made sense in Resident Evil was one in Extinction. And other than that, it was just became because Extinction they recreated this entire mansion scene. Other than that, it just felt unnecessary, but it just was there for style, I guess. Also, according to Paul Anderson, this was a reference to Resident Evil 2, I think. But what he doesn't mention is that the reference is about the G Birkin, the final G Birkin form, where the eye opens. There's an eye-opening eye from when about before it explodes. So it's just kind of odd to put that on a human being rather than a monster, though. It was much funnier on the Birkin monster because it was kind of a opening eye, like oh shit, I'm gonna blow up kind of thing. So I don't know. You'll find out later that the continuity on the handwriting is fucked up too. Like if you look at James Purefoy's handwriting later when Alice has her flashback, or Spence has his flashback. Alice, I think, simultaneously has one too, which I thought was strange. But when during that flashback, you see Spence's handwriting is a lot different than what you see right here. So this one was kind of odd. They didn't even bother to have him write the note beforehand and then have the note there later in the film. But whatever, it's just strange. I'm not sure why that was a jump scare. That's just such an unnecessary jump scare. Guns! This will only be a jump scare and be scary to people who don't like guns. So, I don't know. Stop doing that, ball. I do like that there's a bit of a mystery here. Like I said, if you haven't seen this, if you've seen this for the first time, you hadn't seen the trailer, you don't know nothing about Resident Evil, you just, for the first time, plop yourself down and watch this. Oh, what's this? Resident Evil. And you watch it. You think that the building was attacked, and now there's this woman in the mansion. You don't realize that these two things are connected. You don't know that this connects to the opening scene. You don't even know that the building that was attacked was underneath the mansion that this woman wakes up in. We don't even know she has no memory loss yet. We just know she's walking around like, what's going on? Like, we don't know who this woman is. We don't know if she lives here. We do know she's being watched, which I think is pretty creepy. It's creepy enough as it is that she's in this mansion alone. Now she's being watched by the very computer that attacked the hive earlier. So you can imagine that's kind of creepy. Like, wait, is this computer going to kill her too? What's going on? We know nothing about this woman. We just see she wakes up and then she's in this mansion. We don't know nothing. And imagine just waking up with no memory of who you are. You're just in this big ass creepy mansion and you're just like, what's happening? So I really like this little hint of mystery that we got going on here. A problem I have with this movie is I wish we could have seen more of this mansion. I mean, I guess it's the inverse of the game because in the game you spend more time in the mansion than in the underground lab. But in the case of the game, you don't just spend time in the mansion. You're in these cabins. You're in the courtyards, graveyards. There's like a whole lot of open space you can go into in the Resident Evil games, both in the original and the remake. But in this movie, it's like you spend like 1% of the movie in the mansion. The rest is underground in the hive and stuff. So I guess it's an inverse of the game, but I really wish we would spend more time in this mansion because according to the cast, especially Michelle Rodriguez, they said that it's a very creepy mansion. There's like so many different little doorways and little crevices you can go into, little places you can hang out in. And it's like I'm like, wow, that sounds very interesting, but it's like I wish we could have seen that. In fact, there's some rooms you see in the during the mansion attack, when the soldiers come in a minute. There's some rooms you see in the background. You're like, I wonder how that room looks creepy. You wonder how that would have looked if the zombies were all over the mansion. I guess technically it wouldn't make sense because only two people live here, and the mansion is just there's no zombies in the mansion yet. The zombies are underground, so I guess it makes sense in that regard. But I wanted to see more of this mansion. Apparently, there's a mansion in Berlin too. Apparently, so there's that going with it. And the mansion also looks way smaller on the outside than it does in the game. In the game, the mansion looks a little bigger than what we see here. I find it kind of funny that Alice wears this revealing clothing over anything else. Like she just wakes up, she sees all this comfortable clothing. She just wears this this short dress. It's just like, yeah, I'll wear this instead over anything else.
Hello.
Nice tease for the crows, who we won't see in the films until Resident Evil Extinction, I think. So I hate the crows. They're like my least favorite. Them and the dogs and the hunters are like my least favorite creatures in Resident Evil. I don't know why Matt grabbed Alice. He doesn't even know who this woman is. He just snatches her up and shit. Like fucking Vitaly, just tackling women out of trees and shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? And now we get more mystery here with these soldiers, and now with Matt. Like, who the hell is this guy, and why did she grab her? Why he grab her out of nowhere? Who are these soldiers? Are they attacking the mansion? Are they attacking Alice? They seem to know Alice because one of them goes report. They want to report from her, and she doesn't seem to know what's going on. So there's even more mystery. It's like mysteries piling up on each other as we go through the film.
Report. Report now.
What?
I want your report, soldier.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sir.
Why are you manhandling her, man? It's like everyone's just manhandling Alice all of a sudden, especially this guy. He's just shaking her around and shit.
I would never hit a woman, nah. But I'll shake the shit out of one. What the hell's wrong with you? You crazy woman? I'll kill you, girl. The fuck you tossing salads for? Are you crazy?
No, we take him with us.
I love that Alice looks at one like, oh, you're black? I had no idea. Now watch her go full Karen and decide to call police on him. Jesus Christ. This movie would have been way ahead of its time.
You can't do this!
Blow me.
One of a dozen lines in this movie that only Michelle Rodriguez can pull off. Like, who else? Well, Scarlett Johansson? No. Like, Brie Larson? No. Who else? Go ahead. Lupita Nyong'o, Viola Davis? No. None of them could pull that off. Only Michelle Rodriguez could pull these lines off and make them work. And not make them sound cringy, because she has this tomboyish attitude to her, and I that I find adorable anyway. So yeah, this was Michelle Rodriguez back in the day. Now I think she's not quite like this anymore. I mean, she seems nice though. She seems like a really fun gal to hang out with. But I don't know. This was like almost 20 years ago. Jesus Christ. As much as I say I wish we could have seen more of the mansion, I will say what we do get in this movie is pretty good production design. I mean, this place looks really creepy and just empty. You don't know what the hell is around any corner. You know, besides the fact that the Red Queen is watching them at every turn, you just never know what the fuck's going on or what's going to pop out at you. You know, maybe the zombies got out here at this point. We don't know. But at this point, we still, I mean, for audiences who never saw the trailers or don't know Resident Evil, people still think this is like some other area in the fucking in the city, and some people like still think that the Hive was another building or something. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they figured it out by now. I don't know. Who knows? But it's just I like the production design in this movie. The mansion looks great. Again, I wish we see more of it. This area here looks great. The train looks fucking cool. The Hive, the areas in the Hive look great. I can imagine a lot of these areas being like a Resident Evil game or something. A lot of them were based on a Resident Evil game, but especially the train and the mansion are like the ones that are from. The train is like right out of Resident Evil 2 down to like the Alexei little thing that's on the front of the train. Although I think it said something else, Alex or something. It said something else in Resident Evil 2, but it's similar in that respect. And the mansion, of course, is almost out of the game as well, except it's empty, which is kind of disappointing, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine because it makes sense in the context of this particular story, why it's as empty as it is, because it's not meant to be some house. It's meant to be like a little outpost, I guess, to protect the entrance to the Hive and all that. So I guess, so it makes sense in that regard. But other than that, the rest of the areas, the hive, this little um train station area, it's actually pretty well done. I actually appreciated that they put this much effort into making this look like Resident Evil in some way. Whereas the later ones just don't look or feel like Resident Evil. Particularly Extinction, but again, I kind of appreciated what they were doing with that, which is take the Resident Evil world in a new direction. Because I'll get into that when I do this thing. But fucking hell, how many outbreaks do you need before there's a fucking post-apocalyptic world? You know, Resident Evil currently has like 12 outbreaks now. I was like, good God. But I really wish that the later Resident Evil movies had adopted this style of, you know, production design where it's like it feels like the game, it looks like it could be in one of the games, you know. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe when they reboot it and make it worse, they'll try it this time. Because as I've always known, movies that are inaccurate to the source material are bad, but the ones who actually try to be accurate to the source material are even worse. Because just look at the difference between Doom and Doom Annihilation. Doom, you know, was nothing like the game really, but then Doom Annihilation was almost exactly like the game, minus a few things, and it's like it was even worse than The Rock's version of the Doom. The Rock's version of Doom, hands down, so bad it's good. Doom Annihilation is just bad. Anyway, moving on. We never do get to find out what's making that noise. Like, are those zombie roaches? I mean, zombie roaches do exist in Resident Evil. They were in Resident Evil 2, if I'm not mistaken. And they pissed me off almost more than the crows and the dogs did. And the hunters. They pissed me off so much when I play as Sherry and I'm walking through the vent or something. I think I'm walking through like a fan area or something. I walk in and all the roaches scatter and she one hit kill, just dies immediately. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? You know, it pissed me off every fucking time I played Sherry and as Sherry in the Claire version of Resident Evil 2. It fucking pissed me off. But thankfully they're not in this movie, but I still don't know what the fuck is making that noise. Are they zombie roaches? Or are they just roaches in general? What the hell is that?
How's that door?
Sealed shut.
Let me.
Jumpy?
That is the most adorable Michelle Rodriguez shot I think I've ever seen. That really is cute. That's like really adorable. Was Spence just laying up against the door? Because the guy opened the door and Spence fell out, right? So was Spence just laying up against the door the whole time as he was knocked unconscious? I guess it's gotta be bad for his back.
Lie still. Lie still. Watch this light. Follow it. Now, how many fingers am I holding up?
This medic is fucking terrible. Just wakes someone up out of their unconsciousness. Hey, stop moving. Look at the light. How many fingers? Look at my fingers. Like, Jesus Christ, lady, give him a second.
Listen to me. I want to know who you people are, and I want to know what's going on here. Now.
You crazy woman! I'll kill you, girl!
The mansion above us is an emergency entrance to the hive. You are security operatives placed there to protect that entrance.
What about this?
Your marriage is a fake. Just part of your cover to protect the secrecy of the hive.
Alice and Spence's cover seem completely pointless to me. Like, oh, you're married, but it's a cover to protect the entrance to the hive. It's like, seems kind of pointless, doesn't it? Y'all out in the middle of the woods, and when the mansion was attacked, you were overrun by soldiers, and you got snatched up by a fucking cop. Or a supposed cop. I think this whole cover thing is pretty pointless, considering you all were fucked up within 5 minutes of this place being overrun.
Halon content is dissipated.
I love how this medic checks to see if the air is good without a mask, with nothing. Just halon content. You know that halon, the stuff that killed people down here earlier? Yeah, it's dissipated. It's gone. It's all good. You can breathe this air. It's like, okay. Thanks for telling us that without a fucking mask. And actually, fuck them. They just walked in without even knowing. They walked in and then she told them it was okay to breathe that air.
Makes it easier to work underground, thinking there's a view.
Not sure why she gave him the stink eye for. That was kind of funny though. But there's your big reveal there that this is all underground. This was never in a building in the city. All underground. If it wasn't obvious already, by the fact that they're walking into a room from underground into the very room you saw at the beginning of the movie. But I think it's kind of fucked up, ain't it? Yeah. They just got all they have from the outside world is just that view. It's like, where do these people sleep? Wow, man. Makes you wonder if they can call in sick and be like, I think I'm gonna call in sick. I'm gonna go. I don't want to be here today. I'm gonna skip work today and go, I don't know, do something. And they find out, oh, it was an outbreak. Oh, dodged the bullet there. And cut to fucking 2 months later, the Raccoon City outbreak. God damn it. But yeah, that's gotta be bad for the vitamin C. Let's just be honest. Fucking underground for a whole shitload of time. That's fucking crazy.
What happened here?
I don't like how these 3 white people are just ganging up on this black dude. You can see the look on his face like, oh shit, are they gonna fuck me up? Are we gonna need a couple of protests and riots and looting for me now? What the fuck? I know this white bitch wants to choke me out. I done shook her ass around enough. She wants revenge.
But outside interference is a possibility.
Jesus!
I feel like the jump scare noise startled Matt more than the body being there. He's like, oh, jump scare noise. Oh, body.
Here,
No, listen.
please, come on. It's cold in here.
Such a fucking simp, bro. Let's be for real. If these people saw that shit today, they would immediately call Spence a simp. Like, it's like the word incel now. It's like everyone just abuses the word. It's a gotcha word now. It has no fucking meaning. The meaning it did have is no longer mean shit because like, fucking idiots ruin words every day.
No go. The whole.
What the hell is he staring at? Why is he looking in that vent? What is in those vents? Really? Yeah, even they realize how dumb he looks. How dumb that was. Yeah, let's go. Cool commando, let's go. They're like, shut the fuck up.
Poor bastards.
Fun fact, that is Annabelle underwater. Although I think at the beginning when they first saw her, that was not her. That was a dummy, I think. But this one is Anna Bolt underwater all that time. That poor girl. I know this is supposed to be a secret area, but I did wonder why they call this Dining Hall B. Like, that's kind of a bizarre name to give this area. Like, they be something being fed here, or I guess maybe that's the case. Is that why? I don't know. So many secrets. Motherfucker, why are you just standing there like that? Jesus Christ. I love the Michelle Rodriguez headcanon for this from the Resident Evil commentary. The DVD commentary. She's like, ranges through Matt up there on that ledge. I always wonder how I got up there, but like, I like that idea better. She just picked him up over her shoulder and just threw him up there. I do like the use of holographic maps in this movie. It kind of gives you an idea of where everyone is. You know, shows you the geography of the hive. You know, because a lot of movies, they use this quite a bit in the Resident Evil films, but I think mainly in the first trilogy. I think in the second trilogy, they didn't do this in the second trilogy, but In the first trilogy, they definitely did it, and it was nice to get an idea. It was kind of pointless by afterwards in 2 and 3, but in the first movie, it was kind of useful. Like, oh, this is where they are now. Okay, cool. I like the look on his face. Like, what the fuck did you just do, man? Ah, yes, the iconic laser grid scene. A scene they would reuse a lot in this trilogy, in this series. They use it in this movie. They had it again in Extinction, but as sort of some sort of test for Alice, a clone Alice or something. And they did it again in Retribution briefly, and then they had it again in the final chapter. But that was because they were in this particular hive, you know, from the first movie. But I don't know. It was. They even integrated it into the games. You know, Resident Evil 4 had it. I think Umbrella Chronicles had it as well. So that's nice that, you know, they're integrating something from the games. Wouldn't be the first time they've, you know, the games have did something that was influenced by the movies. You know, Mortal Kombat doing the same thing. You know, the first Mortal Kombat movie, also directed by Paul Anderson. You know, integrating things like Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade's relationship, Kano's Australian. Kano being Australian, you know, the whole 10 Mortal Kombats thing, that winning 10 Mortal Kombats in a row for the takeover of Outworld, like that all was done from the movie. And while Resident Evil didn't, I don't think, adopted anything plot wise from the movies, they did adopt some things like this, so I appreciate that. Not to mention, this is a pretty cool and fucked up scene on top of all of that. I love how in the previous shot you can see her looking at the laser, but then in the next shot she's like, "Oh, laser!" It's like should have cleaned it up there, Paul. Off in her head, get it? Because it's supposed to be like Alice in Wonderland. I heard about that Paul Anderson was supposed to do an Alice in Wonderland movie, but this is what he ended up doing with it. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, wouldn't that cut on her head go from the front to the back, I guess? I don't know. Seems kind of odd. Oh no, not that guy. Remember when he nodded at our heroes, main characters? If he dies, like, I always wondered, did he really die from losing his fingers? Like, the shock from that killed him? Like, that's kind of bizarre. I never heard of some shit like that before. That's actually pretty lame. Like, they were all up in the afterlife, like, yeah, man, I died from being cut into pieces. I died from being cut in half. I died from getting my head cut off. I died from losing my fingers. That's still pretty stupid. I actually love that one. That's like my second favorite death in this movie. Not in this movie, but in this scene. The fact that the Red Queen anticipated that he would jump over it or something. Like, fuck you, I got you. He got cut in half because of it. That's fucked up. Yes, that knife cutting thing you will also see in later movies. You see Alice, it happens to Alice's dress in Resident Evil Extinction. It happens to her again in Resident Evil, the final chapter. They reuse that quite a bit. As if that's the most iconic thing about this movie. Not the scene that's coming up in like 5 seconds.